Hello, welcome back to the studio, live from the Care Show in Birmingham. This is Care and Conversations, and it's sponsored by Cornerstone Care Solutions. You probably haven't seen me for a little while. Lots of other people have been sitting in my seat, doing my job for me, so I've been having a nice rest, drinking some coffee, chilling, but I've got my next guest in the studio, so do you want to tell us who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name's Jade Ken. I'm from Stephens Scown Solicitors. I specialise in healthcare law, so primarily that will be buying and selling healthcare businesses, reorganising them, working on succession plans with families, and generally anything healthcare and legal would come to me.
Perfect. So we were having a little chat before, and maybe we should talk about kind of things that might catch people out that maybe when buying. So whereabouts in the process do you sort of add most value?
Yeah, sure. So there's kind of two places where we would add value. One would be if someone perhaps wants to exit their care business maybe in 2, 3, 5 years' time, so it's preparing for sale, and then obviously we would help them do that sale as well, or maybe do the succession planning. A couple of things that have caught people out essentially recently is CQC registrations. Obviously we work a lot with Cornerstone they do the technical bit, and we would do the legal bit behind the scenes. So a couple of our clients recently have taken residents on that are in their 50s, didn't quite realise that this has a knock-on impact on your statement of purpose registered at the CQC. That's 65 plus, so immediately are kind of in breach of CQC regs by taking in those younger residents, and also it breached their insurance policy.
Wow, okay.
So it's one of those things where they just thought they were being helpful, taking in a slightly younger resident, but actually super important to just check your paperwork and just make sure you're still able to operate as you should be.
Yeah, and that's going to happen more and more, I guess, over the coming years.
I think so, yeah. Like younger people are needing more assistance, more care. Just be aware of the things around you, and it's very easy to forget to update things like statement of purposes, insurance policies, etc.
Perfect. So obviously you said you work with Cornerstone. What does that relationship look like? Where do you normally work together?
All sorts of weird and random things Lucy and Charlie will ring me up about, and I've also known Ben for years through his other roles. I mainly would use Charlie for CQC registration stuff. She's an absolute whiz, seems to have some sort of magic powers with the CQC to get registrations through, which is really helpful. And anything technical, like always bend Lucy's ear, mainly around the CQC or any regulatory type stuff, or if the client's got themselves into a little bit of a pickle, I would generally just ring Lucy and chat it through from a practical point of view, whereas I would do the legals behind the scenes.
Perfect. So, and then when it comes to kind of buying and selling, then how do you get involved on that side of things?
So once we prepared the client for sale, or sometimes they come to us when they've already found a buyer, we'll see them through the whole process. So that will be doing all the due diligence, which is essentially turning over every stone within the business to make sure it is as it should be, preparing all the legal documents, and then in the end selling it to that third party, or if we're acting on the other side, we're acting for a buyer. Again, checking that what they're buying is what they think they're buying, they're getting good value for money, that sort of thing, and then doing the lovely thing of handing the business over to them when all the legals are done.
Nice. How's the market over the last 12, 18 months been in terms of selling and buying?
Yeah, it definitely goes up and down. Pretty buoyant at the moment. I think the budget is making a couple of people nervous. It's coming up in November, so people want to get things through just in case they change the tax rules again. But as a whole, I would say that there's plenty out there, and lots of people are still transacting, not necessarily put off by the government's various U-turns.
And when someone's, say, buying a home, what's the top 2, 3 things they should look out for? Obviously, I suppose maybe before they instruct you, they might start having a look. What stone should they look under?
Good question. I would say have a look at the management team as it is at the moment. Do they have a decent management team? Are you going to have to replace people? Do they have a registered manager that's really wedded to them as owners? Because it might be that the registered manager wants to leave with the owners. Some people have been working together for 20 years. So have a look kind of what you're taking on with the staff and whether you're going to have to fill any gaps. see if there's any gremlins in the closet. What I mean by that might be one of their big contracts, say with the local authority. Is it as it should be? Is it signed? Is it got the right provisions in it? Is it just about to expire next week? You don't want to acquire a business and then realise actually the contract you really wanted is not going to be yours. I have seen it happen. And the other thing is that there's various compliance things, CQC, immigration's a big one at the moment that people trip up on, regulatory.
Sort of right to work and things like that.
Right to work checks, make sure they're as they should be. If someone's got a sponsorship licence, make sure they've done what they should have done. Regulatory, we've got a big deal at the moment where they've been tripped up by fire safety.
Yeah.
Haven't done what they've meant to have done with their fire safety for various different reasons, and now it's stalling the deal. So if you take anything, make sure you check your fire safety is all up to date and you've done those actions that are legally compliant to make your homes as they should be, whether you're selling or not, I should say.
Yeah. Would a local authority contract ever have a clause in it that sort of invalidated it as they changed ownership? Because obviously,
yeah, most of the time they do. It depends how you're selling the business. If you're doing an asset sale, then it's a bit legal, but basically you have to get consent from the local authority to transfer it over.
Yeah, so you're changing the limited company,
Yeah, so change it over. If you're doing a share sale, again, you usually need local authority consent.
Yeah.
Rarely do you
sort of at least
not.
let them know what's going on, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, clients are a little bit reluctant, particularly at the beginning of the process, to let the local authority know what's happening, because if the deal doesn't go through, they don't want to damage any relationship they've got with the local authority. So we tend to get the deal running a little bit and then approach the local authority and just ask for what those provisions are, what consent they have to give. Some local authorities are really big on the due diligence of the new person coming in. Other authorities wave it through a little bit easier.
Yeah.
So it depends which local authority you've got.
Okay, I won't ask you which ones.
No. I'll be slap wrist then.
Any other things that people should look out for?
I think also whether you're buying or you're selling, have a look around you and see what team you've got. I know it sounds like I'm blowing my own trumpet, but make sure you've got decent accountants, decent lawyers, and also your management team around you.
Yeah.
Buying or selling is really, really stressful, and it's a massive project that will need a lot of your time. So if you've got the professionals and also your own internal team around you all set up, ready to go, it makes the process a lot easier.
And so obviously you specialise in healthcare. Do you specialise? Do you see like a lot more movement in? So there's a lot more elderly care homes in the country than there is like learning disability homes. Do you see it different? Are those two markets similar, or do they act in a different way to each other?
Yeah, quite different markets actually. I primarily do social care, so that will be care home, supported living, dom care, sometimes a mixed portfolio. The kind of learning disabilities, or for adults that are kind of in their 30s, 40s, is a slightly different market, slightly different setup. Obviously the residents live in the properties for much longer period of time, and quite often it's a small setup, so it'll be 4 or 5 in a home rather than 30, 40 in a home. So there are different pinch points, if you like, depending on what kind of business you're selling.
Okay, interesting. Anything else you want to share? Anything else you've got burning to share?
I should have been prepared for this question. I think the main thing is if you own a care business at the moment, just think about your exit plans. It might be that you want to exit in 1, 2, 5, maybe even 10 years' time. But just think about how you're going to do that and start preparing now, even if it's just little things like getting your paperwork in order or getting your team around you. Just think ahead, because it's very, very easy when you're busy to not do that, and then it might hurt you later on, essentially. So preparing is really, really key. I
guess with things like the accounts, making sure that you really do sensibly categorise everything, because if you've got to go back later and unpick and move things around, it makes things a lot more complicated, doesn't it? Yeah, definitely. There's so many things, like when you sell your business or when you're buying one, that you turn over a stone and uncover things that you've been on your to-do list for a long time and you just never really got round to it. So sort out all those things before you go to market or before you start looking for something you want to buy. Perfect. So I've got a final question for you. Sure. If you were a biscuit, what biscuit would you be? So I'm gluten-free, so I'd definitely be a gluten-free biscuit. Okay, so I could
say eat myself, that sounds a bit odd. So other people could enjoy things, and probably something from like M&S with a lot of butter in it.
Nice gluten-free biscuit from M&S.
Yes.
Nice, lovely. All right, well, thanks for coming to. It's been nice to meet you, and
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you very much.
Cheers then. All right, we'll be back shortly with our next guest.